All right, welcome to the Carl Jackson Show, your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. Democrats, there was a story or a column that came out earlier this week. Democrats are trying to win back young men. They're trying to figure out how to do it. They won't be able to do it. There's several problems that they have. One, they have an issue with identity politics. You either have to be gay, female, or black in order to succeed in today's current Democrat Party. Also, the Democrats do have strong men. The problem is many of their strong men happen to be racist, and people are sick and tired of hearing it. And then you've got the issue with the trans commies. You've got a bunch of white liberal women that constantly talk about toxic masculinity and that are pro-abortion, so dads don't have any rights. And you have the added bonus that Democrats don't seem to know what a man is. So until they can identify what a man is, there's no way that they can win back men. And so I'm going to get into this specifically and why the Democrat Party is in deep doo-doo. They are in deep trouble. I'm not sure that they can get themselves out of the abyss, except if the Republican Party throws them a lifeline. And God knows the Republican Party could throw them a lifeline. We've experienced that before. There's no doubt about it. I want to play a video for you, and then I want to get into this article that was in the Daily Signal. It actually appeared in a different column first, but the Daily Signal wrote about it, a good summary. So I'm going to talk about it. It's entitled, Democrats Plan to Win Back Young Men. Hilarity ensues. And again, you've heard conservatives talk about it, but I have not talked about it. And I'm going to give you my take on the matter and why I think the Democrat Party is going to continue to implode. Again, the only people that can save the Democrat Party, I don't believe it's going to be a candidate necessarily, even for 2028. It's the Republican Party. If the Republican Party doesn't get on board and fulfill Trump's agenda, we're going to be in deep trouble. Also, if the Republican Party doesn't make sure that they cut spending, we're going to be in deep trouble. I believe that they can cut spending and they can give Trump the agenda that he wants, that he campaigned on. If they fail to do so, there's no telling, despite how disastrous and how low the Democrats are polling, people could just check out for the midterm. So we don't want to see that happen. I want to play a video for you. This is cut number 31. If we could go to that, Gabe. This is CNN. Dana Bash discussing the just released New York Times report on the Democrats' new $20 million study on the subject of how to speak to American men. Frankly, if you have to have a study or pay for a study, $20 million on how to speak to American men, you know you're in trouble in the first place. But let's go ahead and roll the clip. Por favor, Gabe.
So we mentioned new voters, which is also young voters, another way to say that. And now I want to talk about men. And here's something from the New York Times. This is written by our friend of the show, Shane Goldmacher. The prospectus for one new $20 million effort obtained by the Times aims to reverse the erosion of Democratic support among young men, especially online. It is codenamed SAM, short for Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan, and promises investments to study the syntax, language, and content that gains attention and the virility in these spaces. It recommends buying advertisements in video games, among other things. So you're the man here. I will not mansplain you. All I will say is, duh.
Yeah, I know. Look, they should have probably recognized this a couple of cycles before when this trend was growing very apparent. This was a huge problem for them in the past election cycle, and they need to figure it out, because right now the Democratic message is really all over the place. What do they stand for as they head into the midterm elections? But right now, it's a hope, really, among the Democratic leaders that voters will recoil what they view as overreach from the Trump administration. They will make the argument that they need to be a check on Trump's power and to use Trump's push to move ahead with this so-called big beautiful bill, which rail about the tax cuts and for that do benefit wealthy taxpayers, also other taxpayers too, but that does have an impact for them, and the impact on lower income working class voters, the health care cuts that they can face. Can they make that effective argument to win back the majority? We'll see.
I can't believe the era that we're living in, but we're here again. It's not difficult to win male voters. I think Trump showed you how to do it. First off, act like men. Don't be ashamed to be a man. You don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to be abusive. You don't have to be aggressive. Stop with this toxic masculinity nonsense. Stop with the identity politics. Stop telling men that they're worthless. Stop telling men that they're too aggressive, so on, etc. Obviously, there's going to be cases where men are, if there's criminality or violence or something like that, that's a different story. Stop making all men bad. Get out of the identity politics game. The fact that they have to study this is nonsense. All I have to do is, if I'm running for office and I want to appeal to men, I'm going to appeal to men's attributes. Men have a desire to protect. Men have a desire to provide. So I'm going to talk about the economy. I'm going to talk about housing. I'm going to talk about crime, alleviating crime. The things that Trump did. As a matter of fact, there was an article that appeared in a column earlier this week. It didn't get much attention. I'll give you some other reasons why Democrats are in trouble, besides the fact that they cannot win over young men. And I think they're far from it. I think they're going to continue to purge young men. You have Pete Buttigieg out there trying to look manly with a beard now, but it's simply not working. This is a party that has said for decades, we hate men. We hate what men have to offer. We want to be single women. We want to control our own destiny. We want to be pro-choice. We want to be able to kill. We want to be able to kill the baby and pretend like the father of that baby doesn't exist, because it's our body, it's our choice, despite the fact that it's not their body and it shouldn't be their choice alone, because they didn't create the baby alone. But this is it's not hard. Again, stop playing identity politics game. Stop telling the men that are strong in your party. I see plenty of black men in the Democrat Party that seem to be pretty strong, some white too, but plenty of black men that really have a strong manly aura. But they seem to hate white people. They seem to be racist. Get rid of that stuff. Get rid of that stuff. We should be the United States of America. Stop with the games like California is doing now. Now, all of a sudden, Trump is scaring these athletic programs across the country into doing the right thing. And so now in California, if girls place it in the same position, if they place it, first place, second place, third place, the same place as a guy pretending to be a woman, they get to stand on that platform. What? No, end that nonsense altogether. Let's get out of the delusional game. But all you have to do is appeal to man's innate ability. So again, the summary you just heard Dana Bash say it. Basically, the Democrat Party strategists are hoping to win back young men. Again, it's a $20 million effort. The acronym is SAM, Speaking with American Men. What's being labeled strategic plan. Again, it's an attempt to study the syntax, the language, and the content that gains attention. Virality in these spaces, in these online spaces. All right, so here's the steps for the plan. Buying advertisements and video games. I believe she mentioned that also. It cautions Democrats to, quote, shift from a moralizing tone, close quote. That's going to be impossible for Democrats to do. Why is that going to be impossible for Democrats to shift from a moralizing tone? It's because they're elitists. It's because they're not humble. It's because they're not necessarily churchgoers. Many of them believe that they're smarter than God. Many of them believe that, or they derive their morality from government. And so that's going to be really difficult for them to do. I mean, you got what men do they have? They have David Hogg representing them as vice chair of the DNC. They're kicking him out, but he was a young man, 24 years old, I believe, that was trying to bring fresh blood to the Democrat Party. They wanted nothing to do with him. Basically, a woke agenda is going to remove him from his seat because women in there challenged and said, listen, he stepped over the rules, the identity politics rules, so he's got to go. Not to mention the fact that, listen, the guy was biased and he didn't want to remain neutral, and you simply can't do that. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, admits that his son actually loves Charlie Kirk. He loves Charlie Kirk. I mean, this is absolutely insane. The Democrats have nowhere to go. They have no champions. They're talking about Rahm Emanuel. We'll get into that. But I'm going to tell you how the Biden, Obama, Nancy Pelosi wing of the party, the old guard of the party, have totally destroyed this party. Now you have the commies that have basically taken over the reins, but it's the fault of the old guard that they've taken over the reins. And now none of these old fogies, if you will, in the party, the Pelosi's, the the Obamas, Chuck Schumers, none of them have the gravitas to be able to be able to bring the party back. It's simply not going to happen. The only thing, again, that will help Republicans get in office is if the Democrats continue with this narrative that Trump is evil, Trump is bad, Trump isn't going to fix the economy. And then if Republicans acquiesce and don't cut the spending, don't cut the deficit problem that we have, Democrats stand a chance. The only way Democrats win is if the Republicans throw them a life raft. And sadly, Republicans are able to do that. But also more young men continue to identify as conservatives and are shifting to the right, replacing their older counterparts that are older progressives. So it's just not going well for the Democrat Party. All right, we got to take a quick break. I'm going to give you some stats when we return and give you some more evidence as to why there's no way Democrats can win back young men anytime soon, or honestly, their base. Hey guys, welcome to the Carl Jackson Show. I do want to talk to you about mypillow.com. As you know, our friend Mike Lindell has a passion to help everyone get the best sleep of your life. He didn't stop by simply creating the best pillow. Mike created the best bed sheets ever. They look and feel great, which means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. Man, isn't that the truth? Mike is offering the best deal on his Giza Dreams bed sheets, any size and any color, just $49.98. That's right. You could even get queens, kings, split kings, and cow kings, any size and any color, just $49.98. Order now, because when they're gone, they are gone. Also, for a limited time, when your order is over $100, you will receive $100 in free digital gifts. That's pretty cool. Again, when your order is over $100, you'll receive $100 in free digital gifts. All you have to do is call 1-800-858-0263. Use the promo code Carl, C-A-R-L, or go to mypillow.com. Make sure you use the promo code Carl for the amazing offer of $49.98 on the Giza Dream Sheets, any size, any color. That number again, 800-858-0263, or use promo code Carl at mypillow.com. All right, so we're talking about how Democrats, it's going to be virtually impossible, I believe, for them to win back young men. I'm going to play a video clip for you momentarily, but let me just give you some stats. This from the Daily Signal. So the Democrat attitude towards male voters has been troubling for a long time. This isn't anything new. Even before Trump's decisive victory, Trump beat Harris among all men by 11 percentage points, 53-42, in an October poll that was shortly before the election. All right, the former vice president, to be fair with her, that pattern has emerged before. Actually, George W. Bush did the same thing back in 2000 against Al Gore. He won young men by 11 points. So for whatever reason, back then with Al Gore, young men didn't care for Al Gore. They certainly didn't care for Kamala Harris. And frankly, it's not because she was a minority or because she was a woman. Simply, she was running on Biden's platform, and she's not bright. She's not a good candidate. She was never a good politician. She's not good on her feet. And so she was just an absolute disaster. Nancy Pelosi, when asked if she could take over at some point, and I'm paraphrasing, or why she should be, or is she going to be, or why she is the vice president. And she was like, oh, well, Joe wants her, or something to that effect. So these people are a complete and utter disaster. Then you got former Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel that came out and said the party's brand is basically weak and woke. And he's absolutely right. Now, this is funny coming from Rahm Emanuel, because for those of you that are new to politics, when that was Obama's chief of staff. He later became the mayor of Chicago. But what's funny to me, it's in my opinion, when these guys got in office, these were radicals. These guys were far to the left. They were socialists, at the very least, in my opinion. Now, in order to try to bring back the party to the center, which tells you how far they've gone, they're looking at people like Rahm Emanuel, the Democrat Party is, and they're actually getting excited about people like Rahm Emanuel. I mean, that's absolutely insane. But the Democrat Party remains to be in trouble. Here's President Trump speaking on the matter of young men and what's happening with young voters. This is cut number 24. Por favor, Gabe.
But I think we'll be able to save TikTok. I'd like to save TikTok. I mean, TikTok was very good to me. I won the young people by 37%. No Republicans ever won, and I won by 37%. And Charlie Kirk will tell you TikTok helped. But Charlie Kirk helped also. He just happens to be here. Look at him. He loves that we mentioned that name, right, Charlie? He's done great, and I appreciate all the help. But with young people, we won by 37%, Charlie, and you helped. But TikTok was amazing. And he was the first one. He said, get on TikTok. So I have a little bit of a warm spot. I know I shouldn't. They'll say quid pro quo, put him in jail for the rest of his life, quid pro quo. No. TikTok was very good to me. I won young people. I don't know if it was because of TikTok, but it was something happened. No Republican has ever won they call them young people. Young people, you can define it a lot of different ways, but I won every age group in young people. And it never happened, and won by 37%. That's a lot. Yeah.
President, back on Iran. Did you warn Prime Minister Netanyahu against taking some sort of actions
we can cut the video there. We can cut the video there. The point is, he won. Listen, TikTok obviously played a role in it. There's no doubt about it. But I also think he just appealed to what men want. Men want to be able to protect. Men want to be able to provide. They want an environment where they're not going to be called toxic because they're strong, right? They want an environment where the economy is going to be better so that they can provide for themselves and a spouse, girlfriend, or whatever. That's what men want. We're really simple in that regard. We want to be able to worship freely. We don't want to be locked down. We want freedom. I mean, we're really simple people, and the Democrats don't seem to get that. And what you see with the Democrat Party is a bunch of academia that is spewing out of, and man, I gotta get to the infiltration of Harvard. But what you see, in my opinion, is a bunch of academia, the faculty lounges of these college campuses across the across the United States that are spilling out into the culture, spilling out into society. I wrote a column about this several years ago when Barack Obama was still the president of the United States, basically about the faculty, how the faculty lounge of the college universities had made it into the White House with Obama. And man, was I right. And now we're seeing this stuff spill out into the culture. That's exactly what we're seeing. But the Democrats are in bigger trouble than many of you may even realize. Let me give you a couple of reasons why. Let me see here. You have 8 of the last House members to die in office were all Democrats. Did you guys know this? This was from PJ Media. The Bidenization of the Dems, the last 8 House members to die in office were all Democrats. This is the last, I believe, few years in the House. All 8 people that died, House members that died, were all Democrats. This is an old aging party with the old socialist ideas. They have nothing to bring to the table. It's the Chuck U. Schumers of the world. The problem is the younger people on the left have been so dumbed down, they don't have anybody to pass the torch to. So this is a major, major problem. Let me give you another reason why it's going to be extremely hard, despite the fact the COVID lockdowns. And now you have this book out, Original Sin. Biden shouldn't have stayed in the race. That's the argument that Jake Tapper, Alex Thompson are making, even when the original sin is their lack of journalism, in my opinion. But there was another article in PJ Media where I think they just broke it down beautifully. I don't think that Democrats are going to be able to gain traction unless, again, Republicans throw them a life raft. And here's the reasons why. Obama's aura fades. Pelosi's empire cracks. They break it down. The Biden mirage, down ballot casualties, a new generation, or just new faces. The last bastion of the deluded, speaking of the press, and the reckoning that has come that is long overdue. All right, so let me just go through some of this. This article talks about how Obama's aura has faded. Now, remember, Obama was the greatest thing since sliced bread once he came onto the scene. I mean, there were songs, there were children and churches even singing chants and songs about Barack Obama. It was one of the craziest things that I had ever seen. But people were excited to have their first black president, and there was a type of worship about it that was like something I hadn't seen before in politics. It was absolutely crazy. So there was a time where I guess when he early on primary challenges, although it didn't bode well for him in 2010, but early on, you wanted to have Obama like you. You wanted your name associated with Barack Obama, but that became toxic by his second term. By 2012, his second go round, people, Barack Obama, did Barack Obama endorse you? I mean, it was already different 4 years later. Remember, they took a walloping in 2010. This is a man who basically tried to stage a coup against Joe Biden, and Joe Biden refused to step aside. Obama's aura has faded. Reports now confirm that Obama privately urged Biden not to run again, but he lacked either the courage or the leverage to say it publicly. He blinked, he defaulted to the back channel, whispering and careful leaks, and that hesitation was costly. Biden stayed, the campaign withered, the debate disaster happened, Trump's victory followed. Obama's influence didn't just wane, it evaporated. I could go on. It's a great piece by PJ Media. You talk about Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi. Now, Nancy Pelosi was great. Nancy Pelosi was great at asserting her will when it came to legislation. I wish that we had a Nancy Pelosi that was a conservative on our side. I mean, she cracked the whip. She got these people in line. I know a lot of people are impressed with Mike Johnson. Listen, I think Mike Johnson is doing a decent job with the caucus that he has, but I think that he could do better. I think that he could do more. That is my opinion. There's no way that they should be bringing these type of debt ceiling arguments to the public when there's other things that can be done. I think they should have hustled as soon as Doge came out with all of this waste, fraud, and abuse. Anything that could have been done by rescission should have been done right off the bat, in my opinion. But that's a story for another day. But Nancy Pelosi used to crack the whip. But then she just basically became an elder statesman. And she also left behind Kamala Harris, which was a bad move on her part because she obviously realized at some point it was a disaster. And indeed it was. As a matter of fact, she didn't even want Kamala Harris to inherit the nomination. But again, she lost her power. Biden didn't want to listen to her. He didn't listen to her. So now she's an elder statesman in the party that's largely irrelevant. Then you got the Biden mirage. The debate wasn't just a debacle. PJ Media writes it was a reckoning. And indeed it was. Joe Biden wants the bridge to the next generation stood exposed, confused, fragile, and glaringly unfit. Over and done. And then you got the down ballot casualties. People wanted Biden off the ticket because they thought it would hurt them down ballot. It turns out even having Kamala Harris on the ballot hurt them down ballot. The truth is America is ready to move on. And then who are the new faces? Pete Buttigieg? Gavin Newsom? No, they're not looking for the moderates like or AOC. They're not looking for the moderates like Josh Shapiro. And then, of course, look at the press. Nobody trusts the press anymore. Jake Tapper is a scam artist trying to dupe you into